Hi, this is Vic Windsor. I'm here again just to talk about my weight loss challenge. I had some incredible things happen today. For the first time, I did hip sled. If you're unaware of what that is, it's kind of like a squat. I was able to do 3 plates with my legs. Did 3 sets of about 20 for the first one, about 15 for the second one, and 10 for the third. After completing that and a bunch of exercises, because the gym isn't open, Planet Fitness isn't open tomorrow, I went up and got on the treadmill and was walking at about 3.4 miles per hour. So it was fast. The guy next to me was doing about 2.1, thin and skinny and everything. And I'm like, well, you know what? A girl next to me was jogging. I was like, you know what? Let me try it. And believe it or not, I was able to do this. I jogged for 20, on and off incrementally. I would jog and walk, which apparently is one of the best things to do. And then I took some supplements. Here is one of them. If you can see this, it's super greens. And then for another supplement that I'm taking, it's right here. It's pure protein. I know this from being in sports and, reading muscle magazines when they were so popular, when the guys are all on steroids and, learning how to, all about muscles and everything. And one of the keys to a workout program and developing muscles, that when I'm still trying to, I'm getting much bigger. Like, I don't know if you can see my shoulders, or my shoulders are getting bigger. I don't know. I'm not so sure my weight is down, but I've been eating better. And I read a really good thing on Amazon, which was about a guy named Anthony Williams. Some people out there probably know who he is. He has a following about 1 million people, and he talks about celery juice. And you may be thinking to yourself, I said, that's just ridiculous. Even though I had bought it and was using a NutriBullet to make it smoothies with it. For greens, it's cheap. It's like $1.29 a pack, it's readily available. But he says to make juice out of it. And he says not to put it in a NutriBullet. He says you need to drink the juice. And on an empty stomach, you drink the juice. And it's a cure for almost everything. I don't have the book right with me right at the moment, but this book, I read a couple chapters. Sylvester Stallone, Gwyneth Paltrow, and a number of unbelievable people all were, praising his work. And so I'm starting to add that. I'm adding the juice of celery, celery juice. I'm going to start that in the mornings. One of the other things that I've been eating is canned tuna, but unfortunately, what I heard about eating a lot of tuna fish is that it has mercury in it. I even heard Tony Robbins talking about it and talking about the problem with mercury that he had, and that it was he was having problems with his memory. And one of the things about this book from Anthony Williams talks about the fact that the celery juice, the salts in it, can actually counteract some of the toxins that go into the body and can help with dementia and anxiety and a lot of other things. Some of the other things that I'm doing that are keeping me on track and even giving me the ability to even, get on here and talk and make a video and even get going is Mr. Graziosi, of Dean Graziosi. And He's partnered up with two of the most impressive people. I've read both that material from both of them. I'm a big fan of Anthony Robbins. I'm a big fan of uh, Dean Graziosi. I subscribe to him monthly. I have his I'm in his inner circle. I get tons of stuff. I just got his Underdog Advantage book, Expert Secrets from Russell Brunson. I've had that. I never tried what he has. It's a little bit too expensive at the moment because I'm actually going to school for HVAC. My background is not in anything to do with mechanical, but I need to pay the bills. I need something that is going to be around. It's one of those future-proof jobs that is always needed no matter where you go. People need to have heat. They need to have air conditioning, and it's just like a thing that I took up last March. I have a 3.9 GPA. Don't ask me how I did that because I'm not that great of a student. But anyway, so far this experiment, I'm trying to, excuse me, lose 100 pounds it's really working. And I think that, just to be able to jog today at, I'm 46 going on 47, at weighing my last weighing at the doctor was 257 pounds or something like that, 260 pounds. And you would think it was impossible that I would be able to do that, but it happened today. The gym's going to be closed. I have a part-time job. I'm not even going to reveal what that is, but I have a side hustle where I make extra money. I make probably about $100 a day, doing something a lot of people are doing. Using my card to make some extra cash. Kind of like Uber Eats and stuff like that. Any way to make some extra money. But getting back to the physical aspects and the psychology, I think is probably the most important thing that you have to deal with. And I know from when I was in high school, I was 5'9" and 170 pounds and would eat as much as I could and could never gain any weight. Never. And finally, after, I would go to practice and then lift after practice, go to the gym, and I would get home at 10 o'clock. Lift weights. I'd get to the gym at 8 o'clock and, get home at 10. And one of the keys for if you have any kids that are playing football is bench pressing. I did squats. I heard that squats and hip sleds and, it starts to get testosterone going in your body. It just has a way with when you do like heavy squats and heavy leg movements, testosterone starts to build in your body, and then I would go and bench press. And bench pressing at 5'9", and I was a defensive end, and I was also a baseball player. I was a catcher. I was very good at throwing, not so much at hitting, but I could throw to second base and threw tons of people out, starting as a sophomore. In sports, in football especially, I found that bench pressing was one of the keys, and there was a lot of diet. It was a lot of protein. I was eating as much protein as I could possibly eat, with, trying not to eat too many carbs. But there was not too many books. There was no YouTube back then. There was nothing else. It was Muscle Magazine, and any type of muscle stuff, guys that were doing that. I had coaches to do. I never had a personal trainer. I just was successful. And, he talks about, Dean Graziosi talks about having an underdog advantage. And my underdog advantage was, I had to be resourceful. I'm 5'9". I wasn't 5'9" is exaggerated. I'm probably about 5'8.5". And I would just bench press and bench press and bench press and bench press. And by the time I was a senior, I was bench pressing 275 pounds at foot with 170. And by the time I was in college, I was in Rhode Island, tied the state record for 170 pounds at 315. I did 315 pounds twice at 170 pounds. So that's one of my stories, but right now I'm really focusing on this 100-pound challenge. I want to get down to high school weight, and I think jogging included with using this celery daily juice. I did buy a juicer. I bought a Austria, what is it, a Mueller Austria juicer. I think it was around $55 on Amazon. It's made by people with the disabilities. They told me that. They asked me to write a review. I wrote the review. I had no problem with that. And it does the job. I can even just show you really quick the juice that I have here, ready for tomorrow, of my celery juice. And believe it or not, I heard that from from Jennifer Aniston, talking about what she does about intermittent fasting, which is, you don't know what that means and you're trying to lose weight. It means that you don't eat anything until about 1 o'clock, or maybe 12:30, 1 o'clock. But you can have, she said she had a smoothie with celery, and I thought, oh, how disgusting. You don't even put an apple or anything sweet. And I kind of I had a NutriBullet. I was making these smoothies too, and trying intermittent fasting where I don't really eat anything until 12:31. You can have coffee. I'm trying to limit my coffee just because you can probably see that I say a lot, which is probably due to anxiety, but I mean, I'm getting over it. It's one of these things that you have to push through and get over. Just like I have to really, I didn't think at 46 I'd be able to jog. But I felt great. I feel great right now. And I just wanted to get this out there for doing a little video to talk about pre-Christmas, Christmas Eve. It was a really nice present to myself, that I didn't think I would be able to jog, and jogging for 2 minutes, just two minutes at a clip. In the last 5 minutes I jogged, and it wasn't very fast. I think it was on like 4.3 or 4.5, and was able to jog, and it's working. It's back. My shoulders feel full. I'm getting stronger. I'm doing curls, and I'm skipping. Normally you would do with like curls to make your arms big, you would do 3 sets of 10. And I'm just doing 1 set of 30, which is more cardiovascular, just trying to burn fat, burn some calories. And but I'm working out my whole body. I'm working out my back. My back is sore. I'm doing crunches, doing all the different types of exercises that you can think of for about a half an hour to 20 minutes. And I mix it up. If one thing is sore, the next day I don't do it. I give it a day to rest, and then I'll go back and do it again. Like my legs tomorrow will probably be sore, and they have the day off. I'm going to be working from 1 to 10 on Christmas, which is a necessity, but I have some goals too. I have some, I had some sales experience and work experience, and even worked for a company that did about 3 million in sales, and that was 10, 15 years ago, and actually about 16 years ago. And now I look at them and I look online. I worked for them for 3 years. I dated one of the founders, and had a lot more experience business wise, knowledge wise, because I was educated in it, but not practical. I never really put it into practice, but she was able to learn from me in our conversations, and that's all I talked about, to the point where she couldn't take it and was telling me to shut up and just stop talking about it. And then she didn't want to hear about the case studies and all the things I learned. But I'm getting a lot of the same type of things, where now I'm to the point where, you know what, I want to, I have a goal of putting the product out there and selling it. And one of the ways to sell it is to get out there and just get some samples of your product from somewhere and get it really cheap and sell it high, buy low and sell high. And that's what she did. She would travel to Peru and bought Peruvian cotton. And now they do it through Alibaba, which you could connect with those type of people in these remote places all over the world. But she would travel there because that's where she was from. She was Peruvian. And well, I have an idea for a product that I'd like to sell, and that was my other goal besides losing the weight. You know, you can tell that, losing weight, you can only talk about losing weight so much, but I did get this book from, I would look for it, and it's by Anthony William, and it's about celery, and I could not believe it. And hopefully, in addition to what I'm doing now, is going to help. According to him, it's a cure-all. It's probably the number one juice that you can buy for, at the most reasonable price. I walked into the vitamin shop locally, and I couldn't believe the prices. Some of the prices on some of these things are and like hundreds of dollars, or now maybe like $80 or $60 to $80 for this powdered superfood. And according to this book, which I bought for $10 on Amazon by Anthony William, he believes that the number one superfood is celery. And it's from, if I can recall, it's from he calls it a medium, and it's one of the mediums that he uses and has used for over 25 years, and has seen people with addiction, people with weight problems, with depression, with Alzheimer's, with dementia, flushing out. It's great for helping your liver, your kidneys, and ridding yourself of toxins and killing viruses and bad bacteria. And hope this helps. Merry Christmas and have a great holiday.